love it. I love it. I love it. Look at this. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Hey, I'm not surprised.
Hey, what's poppin', my homies? What's good? UFC 278. This is a big card. And it's another full card predictions. We're going to do another one. UFC 278. And my bets on the last card. Tried to keep it simple. Went 1-1 on parlays, but still a loss. Actually, no, I in-played Marlon Vera. So technically broke even or just over even. Yeah, I didn't really expect many shocks on my last card, guys, but there were a few. There was more than a few, to be honest. Now we're going to look at the Money City comments. Guys, there's one play for the Money Cities it's over plus 700. So we're going to look at that one. Actually, we're going to make that one the last play we show. The first Money City comment is from Sean. Cheeto round 3 to 5. That's money. Randy Savage. Cheeto Vera gets it done. Yes, he does. That's money. Obviously, he didn't start quick, but we already knew that was going to be the case with Marlon Vera. Now, I kind of feel like a lot of parlays got dusted on the last card, but Damian Corley clicked on the video at 420. Hey, that's a sign. That's a sign right there. And he smacked it. Cheeto Vera, Azamat, Quinlan, Haragui. That's money. All right, we've got King Sid, Nina Nunes, straight up underdog. Hey, it was money. That's money. Alright, next Money City comment is Blackshear and Vera, which it didn't smack, but the Vera part smacked, and that's money. Now guys, this is going to be the final Money City comment. Get ready for this one, because this one's money. Gruzin or Gruzin said, I have under 1.5 parlayed on these fights. Osborne and Nam, Sideshow Bob and Benitez, Quinlan and Witt. Hey, it's plus 750. That's money. Alright, my homies, be sure to Hamzat smash the like button as always. Let's break down these fights. UFC 278. Alright, moving into the first matchup on this card, we've got Victor Altamirano taking on Daniel Da Silva. Now, initially with this matchup, guys, I was kind of trying to fade Daniel Da Silva like straight away. And the main reason why I think most people are going to try to fade Daniel Da Silva, his cardio is really bad. Really bad, and you kind of see that in the fight with Jeff Molina. You know, Daniel Da Silva tries to initiate the grappling, but man gets really tired. Then you look at the matchup against the lesser Figueiredo. Dusted, completely dusted. So purely based on how Daniel Da Silva looks, I feel like a lot of people are going to try to fade him. But when you go look at the tape on Victor Altamirano, it's not like his cardio is really good. It's maybe better than Daniel Da Silva, but it's not super good. Then you kind of look at the striking defense of Victor Altamirano, you know, kind of getting caught, chin up in the air. Stylistically, you know, it's one of those matchups that can go either way. I think Victor Altamirano's a pretty good kicker, but Daniel Da Silva is also a pretty good kicker. But like I said, Daniel Da Silva doesn't really have good cardio, so he does need to show up ready, you know what I'm saying? He needs to be able to fight more than one round. Initially, I was going to side with Victor Altamirano, but I'm going to give a shot on the dog for this one. I'm going to give Daniel Da Silva that chance. He probably doesn't have more chance than Victor Altamirano, especially if he slows down, but you know, you got to show up. So yeah, I'll take a shot on the underdog with this fight. If his cardio's looking bad, the prediction's probably going to be wrong, but yeah, I'll take a shot on the underdog. Alright, moving into a matchup between Aoriqileng taking on Jay Perrin. Man, I'm quite confident in Aoriqileng. You look at the UFC debut of Aoriqileng against Jeff Molina. This was a firefight. This was a mad fight. Jeff Molina took a lot of big shots. Aoriqileng took a lot of big shots. Against Cody Durden, you know, maybe wrestled a little bit too much. So yeah, 0-2 to start the career for Aoriqileng. But then he steps up to bantamweight and just completely dusted Cameron Else. Complete dusteration. Now looking at Jay Perrin in his UFC debut against Mario Batista, he done okay, right? Round 1, he done okay. You know, kind of showed us his boxing, tried to push Mario Batista against the fence, which he probably looks to do in this fight here against Aoriqileng. I don't really think Jay Perrin's like a bad fighter or anything like that. I think he's going to try to grapple Aoriqileng, but there's a big experience difference in this fight. You know, looking at the Mongolian murderer, over 30 professional fights, there's a big experience difference. And I really think Aoriqileng likes to throw down. You know what I'm saying? You look at the UFC debut, it's a firefight. He likes to throw down. So Jay Perrin's going to get a chance to show Aoriqileng what he's got with the boxing and maybe try to grapple a little bit. But yeah, I'm going to side with the Mongolian murderer to win this fight. Let's go Aoriqileng. Alright, moving into a matchup between Amir Albazi taking on Francisco Figueiredo, which is the lesser Figueiredo, the lesser Figgy. Here's what I kind of think on this one. I think a lot of people are going to fade Francisco Figueiredo like they're going to fade De Silva, purely because of the cardio. The cardio is no bueno. You need to get on a treadmill, go do a run. He did win against De Silva, but it's a round 1 stoppage. You don't really have to use much cardio. Now on the flip side, guys, if you look at Amir Albazi, this guy's pretty good. The pressure against Algasumagulov, it's evident. The pressure's really good, the cardio's good, the wrestling's good. You look at the UFC debut against Malcolm Gordon, the jiu-jitsu's on display. So yeah, when I'm looking at this matchup, trying to get a read on how high level Amir Albazi is compared to Francisco, I would have to side with Amir Albazi in this fight. I think Amir Albazi is probably going to break Francisco later in the fight, you know, maybe a submission. So yeah, my pick, Amir Albazi to win this fight. I don't like the cardio of Francisco Figueiredo. Alright, moving into a matchup between AJ Fletcher taking on Ange Loosa. Now this one, man, it's kind of 50-50. You know, it's kind of 50-50, but if you had a gun and you put it to my head, I would go with AJ Fletcher every day of the week. And the reason why I say it's 50-50, Ange Loosa's just looking for a big shot. It might come. It might come, you know what I'm saying? AJ Fletcher's only 9-1 as a professional. But even though he's 9-1, you look at the UFC debut against Matt Semmelsberger. He lost this debut. He lost. But there's positives. He looked good. Round 1, the grappling. It looked good. And you even look at the contender with the jump knee. You know what I'm saying? I would have to take AJ Fletcher to win this fight against Ange Loosa. I think Loosa's output against, who was it? Manila Zez. You know, you've got to do more. I know it's a difficult fight in the striking, but you've got to do more. It's a pretty low level matchup, guys, but I'm going to side with AJ Fletcher to use the wrestling, and there's more output on the feet. There's more to like on AJ Fletcher, so that's going to be my pick. Alright, moving into a matchup between Miranda Maverick taking on Shanna Young. Guys, Shanna Young kind of looks like she's in the Wrong Turn movies. Kinda, right? Alright, so breaking down this matchup, I'm going to be harsh. I think Miranda Maverick's good. I think Shanna Young's pretty bad. When you look at the kicking of Miranda Maverick, it's better than Shanna Young. When you look at the boxing of Miranda Maverick, it's better than Shanna Young. When you look at the wrestling of Miranda Maverick, it's better than Shanna Young. When you look at the BJJ, it's better than Shanna Young. You know, I think you can look at the tape on Shanna Young and kind of pick holes. Against Sarah Alpar, she was tagged on the feet by Sarah Alpar, subbed by Sarah Alpar. My goodness, completely smashed by Stephanie Egger. She did beat Gina Mazzani, but look at round 1. Round 1's not great. Now on the flip side, like I said, I think Miranda Maverick's pretty good. She didn't lose to Macy Barber. She did win that fight. Completely dusted Sabina Mazo. Made Liana Jojua look like Voldemort. You know what I'm saying? Took her nose clean off. You know, the only time Miranda Maverick's not really looked good inside the octagon was against Erin Nurmagomedov. And I don't believe Shanna Young is anywhere near the level of Erin Blanchfield. So, yeah, I'd side with Fear the Maverick. I just think this one's a mismatch. You know, if it's on the feet, it should be Maverick. If it goes to the mat, it should be Maverick. It's a mismatch. And if I'm wrong, I would be shocked. Alright, moving into a matchup between Sean Woodson taking on Luis Saldana. Guys, let me tell you about my boy Sean Woodson. Let me tell you, okay? Some people might say Sean Woodson be looking like a broomstick. Okay, but let me tell you, it works. It works. Does it not work? It works. Luis Saldana's like a tall featherweight. He's a tall featherweight. Sean Woodson's 6'2". Yeah, looking like a broomstick in that, but it works. It works. Now looking at the style of Sean Woodson, you know, a phenomenal boxer. And he's not like super powerful, but the 1-2, the jab, just beautiful. He's a really good boxer. At 6'2", at 145. Okay, now guys, there's two ways really that you can beat Sean Woodson. You have to kick him. Okay, if you want to beat Sean Woodson, you have to kick the legs. Against a boxer, usually you take him to the mat or you kick him. Now Luis Saldana, clearly a kicker. This guy's clearly a kicker. But here's the thing guys, when you look at Luis Saldana, the cardio against Bruno Souza, super tired. Taken to the mat in a couple other fights. Jordan Griffin, you know, I think Luis Saldana has good kicks. The cardio's not great and he kind of spins, uses a lot of energy. That's why he slows down. I'm going to take Sean Woodson to completely box the face of Luis Saldana in this fight. Might even get a stoppage. And like I say, you know, Sean Woodson looking like a broomstick and that, but it works. I think it's going to work here. I'm taking Sean Woodson. Alright, moving into a matchup between Lucie Pudilova taking on Yanan Wu. Now Lucie Pudilova did get cut from the UFC. However, she's put together some nice wins. You know, you look at how many fights she's had, how many, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 fights outside the UFC. She's won 5 of them, you know, and now she's back in the UFC. That's what you want to see. Fair play. And Lucie Pudilova, you know, is pretty much the same thing. Good boxing, stays in your face, good output, good cardio. Pretty tough. I remember she had that fight with, who was it? Irene Aldana. My goodness, who remembers that one? Back in mid 2018, a real firefight. And I remember at the end of that fight, I was thinking, Lucie Pudilova's like the female Nate Diaz. Now on the flip side, guys, looking at Yanan Wu, I've never really been impressed with Yanan. She got an armbar against Lauren Muller. You know, she seems to be a striker, but not really that good of a striker, you know. I don't really know what Yanan Wu is doing in the UFC. Yanan Wu's training camp is a pretty good camp, Jackson Wink, and they do believe that she beat Mayra Bueno Silva, which, you know, it was kind of close. Yeah, I think Mayra won that fight. Like I said, I don't really think Yanan Wu's that good. I'm going to take Lucie Pudilova to box her face in her return fight to the UFC. You know, when you look at Lucie Pudilova, you can kind of see what she's trying to do. You know, stay in your face, good output, good boxing, pretty tough. When I look at Wu Yanan, I don't really see what she's trying to do. I don't think she's that good. I'm taking Pudilova. Alright, moving into a matchup here between Jared Gordon taking on Leonardo Santos. And Leonardo's 42 years old. 42, making 155. That's a madness. Now Leonardo Santos, man, he's kind of hurt a couple people in his time. You know, what he done to Stevie Ray, madness. What he done to Kevin Lee a few years ago, that was nasty. But looking at his most recent matchups, he got dusted a little bit, kinda, by Grant Dawson. You know, done okay in that fight. But if you get tired, which you probably should, being over 40 years old at 155, and you kind of see that against Grant Dawson towards the end of the fight. Against Clay Guida, oh my goodness. I mean, he won the fight, but the ref was like, nah, I've got a bet on Clay. Ain't no way I'm stopping this one. You know what I'm saying? He really did win the fight, but the ref was like, you know, we keep fighting. Until there's a death, we keep fighting. And Clay Guida came back, gets the choke. That was a madness, that one. Now, guys, Jared Gordon has kind of been dusted a couple times. Against Joaquim Silva, dusted. Against Charlie Oliveira, dusted. Against Grant Dawson, you know, kind of dusted in the grappling, outsized, outmatched with the wrestling. If you put a gun to my head and said, how does this one go down? I would say to you that if Leonardo Santos wins, it's probably inside the distance. If he doesn't win inside the distance, there's a good chance Jared Gordon just beats him on cardio, beats him with the wrestling. And I'd have to side with that. You know, how can you really pick Leonardo Santos at 42 years old? I wouldn't want to do it. And that's not to say that Jared Gordon's like a really, really good pick. But it kind of seems like it against a 42-year-old. I'm taking Jared Gordon. If you waited to smoke with me, amen. If you've been smoking this whole time, double amen. If you're not a smoker but you enjoy the smoke breaks, that's a triple amen, gang. Let's go. Hey guys, don't forget we are the Money City gang too. Drop down your Money Cities. Guys, I gotta dedicate this whole smoke break to Nate Landwehr. I'm gonna dedicate this whole smoke break. That guy is a madman. He's a maniac. Listen, David Onama basically starched him, but then he woke him up with those follow-ups. You know what I'm saying? He woke him up. But here's the thing, David Onama basically woke up The Undertaker. He woke up a maniac. The type of maniac that starts to break you. And he did. He proceeded to break David Onama. You know, he broke him so bad that he kinda started to show mercy. The Undertaker showed mercy. That's a madness. So yeah, I think you've got to give a massive shout out to Nate Landwehr. My goodness, man. He got knocked down. He woke up. And it's The Undertaker. All the credit. All the credit. Alright, let's jump into UFC 278, the main card. Let's go. Alright, moving into a matchup between Tyson Pedro taking on Harry Hunsucker. Hey, shout out to Harry Hunsucker, man. Okay, fair play. Now, Tyson Pedro, guys, this guy had a few years off. I kind of forgot he even existed. But he came back thinking he's Israel Adesanya. You know, the low kick against IK Villanueva, it was money. You know, that's money. And you have to remember too, before Tyson Pedro thought he was Israel Adesanya, he's a jiu-jitsu player. You know, the jiu-jitsu's really, really good for Tyson Pedro. So you've got a good jiu-jitsu player who now believes he's Israel Adesanya with the calf kick. Tyson Pedro looking good. Guys, on the flip side, Harry Hunsucker got completely dusted by Tai Tuivasa, and it was the calf kick. You know, the calf kick dusted him. Guys, if anyone's taking Harry Hunsucker, please let me know in the comment section why you're making that pick, why you're making that bet. Tyson Pedro, good jiu-jitsu, good calf kicks. Harry Hunsucker, man, I don't think so. I've got to go with Tyson Pedro. Alright, moving into a matchup between Marcin Tybura taking on Alexander Romanov. Now, guys, Marcin Tybura, don't ever disrespect me or my community pretending your name's Marcin Tybura. This is Augusto Gloop grown up. Yeah, this is Augusto Gloop from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Hey, Marcin Tybura, you ain't fooling me. You ain't fooling my community. Don't disrespect us like that. You know, Marcin Tybura getting the golden ticket, going to the chocolate factory, trying to eat more chocolate. He got dusted at the chocolate factory, and now he's grown up. It makes sense that he's in the heavyweight division, you know, seeing as he liked to eat all the chocolate. But yeah, changing your name to Marcin Tybura. I know you're Augusto Gloop, okay? That's Augusto. Alright, so breaking down the matchup between Alexander Romanov and Marcin Tybura. So speaking about Marcin Tybura first, I see him fight against Stefan Struve live in Germany, and he had a good game plan, you know, just take the giraffe to the mat, which kind of seemed fair. And Marcin Tybura can do that, you know, the grappling's pretty good. He did do that against Greg Hardy. He'd done that to Walt Harris. You know, Marcin can do that. But against Alexander Romanov, there's no grappling for Augusto Gloop. Augusto Gloop is not going to be taking Romanov to the mat. Romanov's going to do that to Marcin. If you're Marcin Tybura and you want to win this matchup, you've got to stick to the striking. You know, I can't really see him doing well grappling against Romanov. I know normally he's good with the grappling, but in this scenario, probably not. On the flip side, guys, you know, Alexander Romanov, this guy's pretty violent. He's going to take you to the mat. He's going to look for the ground and pound. He's going to try to dust you. And I think he's probably going to do that to Augusto Gloop, aka Marcin Tybura. So I'm going to take King Kong, Alexander Romanov. Alright, moving into a matchup between Jose Aldo taking on Merab Dvalishvili, the king of Rio de Janeiro, taking on the Georgian Terminator. When you look at Merab Dvalishvili, this guy really is the Terminator. You know, got hurt by Marlon Moraes, but recovered, got the takedown, and then he went to work. You know, really dusted Marlon Moraes on the mat. You look at all of the matchups prior to Marlon Moraes, relentless wrestling from Merab Dvalishvili. His cardio is really good, you know, and he just kind of works with that. And to be honest, if you look at Merab Dvalishvili, he does need more than one takedown, but that wasn't really the case against Marlon Moraes. You know, he held this opponent on the mat and went to work. Now here's why the matchup's really interesting. Jose Aldo can kill the Georgian Terminator. He can do it, right? He's good enough to do it. You know, Merab Dvalishvili might have really good cardio, but he's really reckless you know, just kind of leaves the chin right there to be clipped. And Marlon was close. He was close. If Merab Dvalishvili's on the feet with the King of Rio de Janeiro, I don't think anyone would be shocked if Jose Aldo completely dusted him. And you look at the recent work of Jose Aldo, you know, beat Marlon Vera, which that win is really aging like wine. Beat Pedro Munoz, where he controlled the whole fight. Dusted Rob Font. So yeah, Jose Aldo, man, he's a legend. And he could beat Merab Dvalishvili. It all comes down to who can do what they've got to do. Obviously, Merab Dvalishvili needs to get the fight to the mat and needs to keep the fight on the mat. Needs to just fatigue Jose Aldo. I've got to do it. I've got to side with the Georgian Terminator to win this fight, to get multiple takedowns against Jose Aldo, and hopefully to keep the takedown, you know, secure it. And that might happen more in round 2. Because Jose is going to slow down. So yeah, my pick on this one, I'm going to side with the Georgian Terminator, Merab Dvalishvili. Let's go. Alright, moving into the co-main event, we've got Paulo Costa taking on Luke Rockhold. Guys, with this co-main event, if Paulo Costa shows up really wanting to win, Luke Rockhold has a glass jaw. His jaw's made of glass, right? So if Paulo Costa really wants to win this co-main event, he's going to break Luke. He's going to break his face. But here's my concern on Paulo Costa. Kinda likes the red wine. Yeah, he's got a knack for sitting back with the red wine. So if Paulo Costa just kinda shows up thinking it's all fun and games, then Luke has good kicks. You know, he can keep at a distance and kinda just pepper Costa with the kicks. But if Paulo shows up and he's like, nah, I'm gonna starch this guy. If he shows up with that mentality, I think he can do it. So essentially my breakdown really relies on which Paulo Costa shows up. Which one is it going to be? Guys, I'm going to take a shot on Luke Rockhold to just kick Paulo Costa. But if Paulo shows up, it's a bad pick. So yeah, I'm going to side with Luke Rockhold as an underdog, a big underdog. And it's understandable why. He's got the glass jaw. Alright, moving into the main event between Usman taking on Leon Edwards. Guys, I really wanted to pick Leon Edwards to win the fight. I wanted to make that pick. But then I realized that Salt Lake City, Utah, it's high elevation. Like 4,000 feet. You know, and Leon Edwards doesn't train high elevation. Now, we have already seen this fight. Usman completely dominated Leon Edwards with his wrestling, but you would have to say that Usman has evolved a lot since the first fight. You know, his striking's got really good. You know, looking at that jab, it's a beautiful power jab. But on the flip side, you know, Leon Edwards has got good boxing. He's a good striker too. And he's a good wrestler. You know, Leon Edwards is on a good win streak. He deserves to get this shot. But I'm going to come back to my original statement. It's at high elevation. And that kind of favours Usman. So if Leon Edwards wants to win this fight, I think it's got to be a starching. I think he's got to starch Usman round 1, round 2. If he doesn't starch Usman round 1, round 2, he's probably going to struggle with his breathing later in the fight. It's high altitude, you know, 4,000 feet. And if you normally train at sea level, it's going to show. I kind of expect Usman to be able to stop Leon later in the fight, whether it's ground and pound or even a stoppage on the feet. So my official prediction is going to be Usman to stay champion. But if Leon Edwards can pull it off, if Leon can do it, that's a madness. I'm going to be happy with that. I think Usman's just pretty much unstoppable. You know, 15-0 in the UFC. Who's going 15-0? Usman is. He's lapping them. You know what I'm saying? Lapping them. If Leon can do it, it would be crazy. But I just see him just kind of fading, especially if it goes past round 2. So yeah, my pick on this one, guys, I've got to side with Usman and still the welterweight champion. Good luck to Leon Edwards though. You know, if he can defend the takedown, it should be a good fight. He's got good boxing. Alright, as always, my homies, be sure to drop down your main event, your co-main event, your underdogs, your MoneyCity Plays. Drop all of that in the comment section below. And yeah, as always, keep your eyes to the sky, never glued to your shoes. Mac Miller. Alright, peace.